Welcome back to Talkin Drawful. I'm your host, the Reverend Ellsworth. So glad you joined us today. We're going to do a quick sketch, and then we're going to do a marker sketch because that's what makes me happy. So today I'm actually going to borrow inspiration from a friend of mine who has a rather illustrious pinup career. And the thing that she does, I think, is quite fascinating, is she actually... She's a yoga instructor, and she does boot camps and whatnot. She celebrates the human body, which I like to do as well. Not sure quite where I'm going with this, but trying to do like a line sketch. I can see the picture off camera, because frankly, y'all ain't ready for that picture. So what we're going to do today is try to do a marker version of a real-life picture. So we'll see how that goes. As you can imagine, this is going to contain some boobs and some implied nudity. Yes. So if that's not your cup of tea, that's okay. I'm not offended in the least. Go ahead and switch off your camera now. There are some other drawing videos online that you can enjoy without worrying about the implications. Now, of course, she's got boots on in this picture. And the fun thing about really tall boots is that when you're kneeling with these fun boots on, you only get little cuffs at the very end. So we're going to represent that and try to represent her legs. Now, her legs are actually hidden behind her thighs, which is a beautiful portrait, but it is also difficult to represent without all of the pieces in place, if you will. She's got her hand tucked behind her, and she's kind of coming around, creeping this way, holding her clothing to the side. It's kind of fun because she's got her hair in her face. That's one of the things I like to practice, is the hair in the face. It's also a lovely cheat for new artists because then you can kind of hide your work. I started that eye up way too high. So the eye's going to be in that darkness somewhere. There we go. That looks more like a human head. It's a lot more realistic than I usually draw on this channel, so hopefully you find that entertaining and enjoyable. I'm using an aquarelle. I didn't realize for the longest time that it's actually a watercolor pencil. And what that means is that I could take water and it would actually paint. This pigment is rather pungent, or not pungent, that's not the word. The word I'm looking for is, it is quite filled with potential, meaning that on a hot day when I discovered this, I was coloring with them and I got it wet. And I was like, my goodness, that looks exactly like watercolor. And I'm like, son of a gun. Carrot Aquarelle. How about that? It's by Statler. I can't really pronounce it. I think it's a German company. So she's kind of got one shoulder back and then one shoulder forward so that you can see this hand, but then it's tucked in behind. Of course, we're going to do our Wu-Tang symbols because reasons. And then this one is a little higher up. I would really encourage you, if you're interested in drawing the human form, to really check out a local figure drawing class. It doesn't have to be nude, but it is good to understand the nude body, because once you understand the nude body, then you can put clothes on it. How about that? You can put clothes on it. On the body, on the temple. I like how it's turning out. Quick sketch. It's a very disturbing face, but hey, let's make a go of it, shall we? Dun, 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 dun. So put our pencil away. It goes in a case. Now, one of the things I like to do if I'm truly seriously going to make a marker sketch, let's say I'm doing it for someone else, is I'll outline in yellow. And the beautiful thing about this is it allows you to kind of frame in everything. I draw, if you haven't noticed, a lot like someone who sculpts, I guess is what they call it. And that can be You know, with clay, there's much forgiveness. I remember listening to a rock sculptor one time, and she said that clay is so forgiving because you can break down clay again real quick like and build it back up again. Stone, you can't build stone back up again. So if you mess up with stone, it's for good. So be careful, if you will. So the nice thing about yellow is kind of like, as I've said before, the non-reproduction blue that comic book artists will often use, because you can frame in what you want to do and you go back over it with a darker color. I don't know if you can see that kind of coming out. You know, all different formats we use. All right, I have not got the body structure at all, making her too big, and then she's just gonna clamber into one place. All right, we got to keep going. That's the guide. Doesn't matter. Once marker hits paper, we got to keep going. It's fun to do the thigh, because when you're on your knees and your calf behind is pushing your thigh muscle, you're actually going to get kind of this, you know, it's just muscle. It's just muscle and skin and very little fat, obviously. But for those of us with a little more weight, we get a lot more squeezing action when that goes on. So it's funny, because the more I work on this, the more I'm like, this doesn't even look like a person. There's no human being that can make this shape. But that's okay. It's okay, because it's important to fail in whatever you do. And I know that sounds extremely contradictory, but it's important to fail at things, because then you learn what not to do next time. And it's a process. I was just going through some old Bob Ross videos, and Bob Ross was just a great art teacher, amazing art teacher. It is unfortunate, because all the art teachers that came after Bob Ross just had trouble living up to Bob Ross. And one of the things that he would always do is he'd just be like, hey, this is for you, you know, don't worry, it's just for you. See, her head was a little too big, so I'm going to tone her head down a bit, and then I'm going to bring her hair down in her eyes. She actually shaves the side of her head, the sides of her head, so you get a much more stark contrast of her hair against her head, which is kind of fun. I like that, and allows me to practice hair. And I think we've kind of got the shape in here. You don't want to go too heavy on the yellow, because it will blend in with the other colors, because they're all pigment, and I guess these are alcohol markers, I imagine. And that, you know, just keep it in mind. You don't want to soak your page with your medium. Let's see, her hand is about. I've got some garments here I'm gonna have to draw in. Yeah, well, I mean, she's still got them on technically. They're coming off, but you know, she's still got them in her hand. She's holding it with her thumb over here. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Put the. See, now say that doesn't look half bad. Now watch me ruin it with color. In fact, we should take a photo of this, just in case. All right. Now, the next one I want to go a little darker on. So you kind of go down your range. Like light green wouldn't be great at this point. She has a very natural color, but obviously she didn't start off with yellow. We could start with orange, go a little bit darker, and try some stuff. Now you're going to notice that the orange is really going to pop once you've adjusted your eyes to this yellow. And the nice thing about this is then I can spend time being real careful not to go over lines. Now she does have some kind of garment there, so I'm just going to relegate the orange to her actual skin shapes. She's got these beautiful tattoos. Those gorgeous tattoos. I'll try to put those in a little bit. She works out. She does. She's kind of insane. She does a lot of boot camps and whatnot. Didn't really Let's see, we'll get that hand in there, and then we've got some garment going in there, so then we'll just come down here to the leg, and come down here like this. Now, in the photo, some of her anatomy is obscured, but I think I'm going to sneak in a leg in here. Don't want to, I want to have my own interpretation of this. I don't want it to be too realistic, because we could just photocopy it. We don't need to. And it also helps to study the human form so it looks more accurate in post-production. I don't know, I keep using words I have no business using. So, of course, what's top on my mind, if you've seen some of my Facebook posts, recently I received a distinction, excuse me, as being the worst narrator by far. The worst narrator ever. And I was like, wow, that is a distinction. I mean, you all can clamor around for best narrator ever, but I have been awarded the worst narrator ever. And that I'm impressed. I didn't think I would get that far early on in my narrating career, because I've only narrated one book. But doggone it, it was enough. It was enough to earn that distinction, and that's what's important. I think that's what's important. All right, I've got a lot of the skin areas. And all right, so we've got some stuff going on here. Let's do. Oh, we got to do her head. There we go. And it's really tough because most of her face is obscured by her hair, but I still want to, give that definition there. And now we'll do a darker color for her hair. Remember, with markers, you want to go light, light, light until you want to go dark, dark, dark. Let's do purple. Do we want to do purple? We could do a light purple. Ooh, I don't know. This is dangerous. I won't have fun. Oh, see, that doesn't look bad. And the other thing you have to remember is that you have a base of yellow. So your colors are going to come out based on that yellow. So just, be sparing in your... I'm not sure where we're going with that. Oh, no. Some of what I want to show in this photo is not in the... What I want to show in this picture is not in the photo I'm referencing here. And of course, that's not fair to you because you have no idea what I'm looking at. But bully on. It would change the rating of this video if I showed you the photos, so we're just not going to. Because I'd like to monetize this one day. That's what I'd like to do. Now see, this is a dark blue, but it's turning out even darker against the yellow. But that's okay. Remember, once you go dark, you kind of can't go back with markers, because markers only have one direction. Now for her undergarment here, let's do something a little bit different. All right, we'll see how it behaves. It's a very light, it's a pink marker. She's going to wear pink. Yeah, F it. Picked up the marker. Now see, that's too close. That's too close to the red, so that's not helping anybody. And of course, we've already made that decision, so we're just going to have to go with it. Yeah, there we go. Hook it around there. You can see you can't really go over it because then it combines. So you can always go from light to dark. But once you make that move, you are in it to win it. Not sure if that's really convincing as a cloth or it just looks inappropriate altogether. But that's okay. We're just working with stuff. And since we got the green out, we might as well just finish off her little wrap thing she's got going on here. Now it covers a lot more of the arm than I'm showing in this picture, but that's okay because we'll make it work somehow. And there's some shadows in there. It's coming around like so. And then of course it's coming down in the background like this. That's kind of cool. It turned out not too bad. See how the same green is very dark right there. And all right, marker on the finger. Now we know we're doing something good. Because we're getting markers on our fingers. Markers on our fingers. I'm not sure if you were ready for that. But hey, is anybody really ready for that? Probably not. Oh, now I don't want to just color this in black. I want to do the streaks. In order to do streaks, we're going to follow our same guidelines of light to dark. So the first thing we want to do is go with a lighter color, not quite yellow, but maybe some light purple. Yeah, some light purple. Oh, now see, that's a bit stronger of a color. We're going to go through the whole thing first. We're going to do our sheen marks, which is always fun on hair. If you've ever seen any type of hair commercial, the way the light plays on straight hair. Now, I will be perfectly honest with you, my hair is straight hair, and so that's kind of what I'm going for. Her hair is straight hair. That's what I'm going for. I should try doing more curly hair, because I don't do that often enough. So that's something we need to try in a future video. But I wanted to try this because the hair is in the eyes. And there isn't much reflection in the photo. It's very dark, so maybe I should just imitate what's in the photo. Oh, hey, there's an idea. Look at you. Sparkly, brilliant, and somewhat useful. I'll be honest, the photo isn't very exciting when it comes to the hair. Not with the light, anyway. That's okay, because that's the beauty of art, is you can interpret and reinterpret and make things work for you. That's what you do. Now remember, this is a base coat. We're going to go back over that. A base coat, like markers have coats. Oh, silly narrator. Don't lead the people astray. It's not bad. I don't much mind the look of that. Now, of course, photograph it, because we're going to ruin it. Oh, we don't want to be off camera there. So we're going to dark with the hair. We're going to go black. Oh, I never use black. All right. About to use black now. Ooh. And see, black comes in. Black will mark everything in between. Trust me. Black will run over your yellow and your purple and everything. And it's funny because technically black is the absence of color, while white is the presence of all colors. But not in the materials world. That is in the spectrum world, where vibrations turn into different colors as understood by the human eye. It's fascinating. I was watching Beware of Images, the documentary by Topo. You can find it on Facebook if you look up Beware of Images. One of the fascinating things about colors is that it's actually a wavelength. You know, we see colors as it's on the visible spectrum, but they're vibrations. You know, different vibrations generate different colors. I never realized that before. So it's not only the refraction of light, but it's a wave, because light is both a particle and a wave. Like, just keep drawing. Stop talking the science. Just keep drawing. All right, I'll keep drawing. Golly. So angry. So angry my fans are. Just kidding, that's my inner voice. I'm sure y'all wouldn't say anything like that to me. You'd probably say I'm the best narrator ever. You would never say I'm the worst. I'm just kidding. If you were smart, you'd say I'm the worst. All right, what is that? What is going on there? See how the different, the red and the different kind of stuff? Purple's kind of picking up. But where the purple overlaps the yellow, you get kind of a different color, but it's fun. Again, this is about having the courage to fail. And it's funny because the more you render something, often my tendency will be to do less and less, because it's like, oh no, I'm not getting anywhere. Why am I not? Let's see, we can do something similar with the cloth, as we can do different colors, kind of like hair, but let's see, that would be fun. But, you know. This is actually a lot of fun. I mark my days by how often I get to color and draw. Because there's like nothing. At the end of this, nobody gets to eat. Nobody gets to eat. Like, what'd you make? Did you make a meal? No, don't get to eat that. Something I can wear? Keep me comfortable from the elements? No, nothing like that. Does it promote my life by teaching me something? Well, maybe, but it teaches you a skill that will neither provide food nor clothing nor shelter. Unless other people are like, wow, that is a useful skill. Here's some of my money. Enjoy some of my money because you did this useful skill. Thank you, sir. We'll say the outfit matches. All right. Now, this is something I addressed in a previous video because with markers, well, with any kind of drawing, really, you kind of have to figure out what level of depth you want to go to. Like for a himple, in here you still see some white areas, and for me, those little splotches of white really kind of break the whole idea there. So I'm going to go back and try to color them in with the purple without getting too into the black, because the purple will pick up black. Now, we have done something else on the painting and then come back to this area. So it's likely that the marker has dried. The color is already inside the paper. So we're not worried about pulling it out too much. Also be aware that, if you push too hard, you get the same thing on the back. So just be careful about that. Get yourself a nice heavy set of paper. Now see, I love this, but I want it to come down in a point like that. And that's not like the painting at all. That's not like the original piece at all. But you know what? That's the beauty of art. Yeah, I'm going to bring that down just like that. Yeah, why do I do that? Because I can. Look at that. There we go. All right, now we're going to go black. Black with our back marker, or back with our black marker. Put that in there like that. Look at that, it almost looks like a tail of an animal. Bring that sheen down there. I mean, sure, the sheen doesn't make any sense because there's no light on Earth that would make it look like that, but that's okay. It's all right. Remember, I'm only doing this for me. And trust me, next year when I go through here, and by next year I mean less than 12 hours from now, next year I'm going to look at this and go, hot diggity dog, man, you were very talented. I love that cartoon where you see a modern day person on a tablet and they're trying to draw something and they're like, I hope I'm as good as the masters. And you're like, okay, all right, cool. And then you see somebody, painting like Rembrandt. He goes, man, I hope I'm as good as the masters. And you see some guy, drawing on a cave wall and he's like, I'm the greatest. And that's kind of what life is about. It's about not getting too particular. Now I'd like to do some accents on the body, and I think I'll go with the yellow, orange, red category. We'll do the accents in the red. And of course we're going to do our little Wu-Tang symbols here. I'm going to try to actually match what her... Again, that's not really what they look like. But hey, it's my drawing. I'll make it look anything I want to. Yeah, see, that's a lot more realistic. It's okay though, because it's still got the, the Eye of Sauron thing going on. Now, with a dark blue, I'm going to do some accents to the clothing. Where did that marker go? Oh, there it is. We're going to do some, now this is like an Admiral blue, I would say. We're going to do some, just outline, make it a little darker, show a little contrast. And then maybe we'll do some accents here and there, kind of give it that clothing feel. Because whenever you drape any kind of cloth, you're going to get these folds in it naturally. It's like, how do you represent those folds while being true to your model, as it were? And of course, it's laying on the arm, so it's going to have a little bit of variation because of that. And you're going to have a little bit of overhang. And I think the key thing is just to have fun with it. My word, we're going along on this. It's all right. I'll just shut up and keep drawing. Stop talking. I'm just kidding. It's Talkin Drawful. All right, so I think it's time for extreme background. Yeah! With only 5 minutes left to go before everyone goes, no way, that's too long. We're going to use big markers. Wow. All right, so this is a real fun one. I don't know if you've seen this in art before, but it's basically drawing concentric lines to force the perspective into the center of this drawing here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to whoo, and we're going to whoo, and we're going to whoo, and we're going to whoo, and some whoo, and whoo, and some whoo, and some whoo. All right, now with that, we're going to give it some texture here, because Lord knows we don't need any dullness. Ooh. Big markers and some blue. Yeah. Yeah. Now see, with this, I'm going to specifically keep some white spaces between the colors because I want it to have that surreal environment. I mean, the fact that she doesn't have any eyes is pretty surreal. This is just fun. Now I'm making sure not to touch marker to marker because I want to leave that slow, just a slight, untouched aura around the model. Simply just to, it's an effect. So again, if you're going to put spaces in there, make the spaces purposeful. And then you just have fun. Ooh, I didn't wave that one out. Sorry. I'm going to go solid with the shapes, but then leave spaces between them. So that's kind of fun. Ooh, lordy. Yeah, we're just dumping color onto the next page, but that's okay. So I'm going to get through this somehow, by hook or by crook. And then if you keep the pattern by always putting blue next to the purple squiggly, then what you do is you create anticipation, kind of like when you're singing a song and they're like, chorus is coming up again. Get ready for the chorus. Now I'm kind of using these markers like you would use paint. And I did promise myself that I'm going to get more into paint this year because I like color. Let's say I avoided using color in my art for a long time, and I think it's a shame because it's just more appealing. It's more attractive. I mean, if you want to go black and white, you're trying to set a mood. I totally understand that. But if you're not trying to set the mood, you're robbing yourself of some opportunities for some color. So that's good. Yeah. All right, good times. Good times. I don't think I've... All right, how are we doing on time? Oh, 2 minutes left. We can do this. We can do this. All right, we're going to do green. Do green? Oh, green may or may not work. So we're just going to... All right, so this is nice because we've now defined some spaces, and I want to keep that space throughout. And one of the things I've noticed is that my purple is not quite as defined as I'd like it to be. So now we're just going to play with it a little bit, just draw the shapes out. Now this is more like painting, I would say. Because a lot of the things that Bob Ross did is he would throw some paint on the canvas. And one of the first things he would do is he would cover the whole thing with a thin coat of white, titanium white. And I think that what that does is it, Georgia O'Keeffe did that. She would make the canvases super, super bright before she would start laying down color. Georgia O'Keeffe was probably one of my favorite quotes about what to wear because it was rumored that she would always wear black, just straight black like a goth kid. And they go, why don't you wear any color? Here you are, this fantastic painter, and you don't wear any color. And she said, the more time I spend picking out colors to wear, the less time I have picking out colors to put on the canvas. I thought, oh, snap. Well, that worked right there, didn't it? Now, I'm not going to do it underneath because I think that'll take away from it. But I might make that choice different in a little bit. All right. So I think, without some further ado, we're going to do some green in between there, but I wanted to define the purple first. We'll get some more of that in there. Oh, I hope you enjoy that sound as much as I do, because that means stuff is being laid on the paper. The other thing I was thinking about for future episodes is to actually sit there and paint some of these more rudimentary drawings, and then maybe give them away. So if you'd be interested in winning one of these, and it's very simple, leave a comment below and go, yeah, I'd be interested in winning one of those. And what I will do is I will figure out some kind of giveaway. I'm not sure how giveaways work. I'm just kidding. I've watched raffles all my life. I'm sorry, 50-50 chance drawings, because gambling is illegal, but chance drawings, those are perfectly legal. So a chance drawing would be, hey everybody, I'll choose somebody in the comments below to win this at random. But you can't just comment below. I mean, where's the fun in that? So what we're going to need is we're going to need you to go through and post a drawing of your own. There we go. In order to be eligible to win, you're going to need to post a drawing of your own in the comments below. And it can be very rudimentary. Please make it somewhat respectable reasons. But yeah, go ahead and put a drawing of yours in the comments below. And in the meantime, what I would ask you to do is remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Remind them that there is some, drawn nudity, as it were. But I guess everybody in France will be okay with that. But everyone stateside might have some problems with that. Yeah, I was just talking the other day. We had a trivia question the other night. It was, from what country are we getting the president is married to his teacher he met when she was 39 and he was only 15. And that, my friends, is France, because that is Mr. Macron. But that's kind of the thing it is. If you ever get a chance to listen to John Oliver's take on how France interprets 50 Shades of Grey, because apparently they made it okay for 13-year-olds to watch, because it wasn't very saucy at all. And it's funny to grow up in America with our rather puritanical beliefs about sex and interaction, and it's funny to think that it's not how all the world handles physical honesty, as I like to call it, or physical intimacy. But anyhow, so if you're sending this to your French friends, then you shouldn't have a problem at all. But if you're sending it to anyone in the States, you might want to warn them, hey, it's not safe for work, unless your work is drawing half-naked women. That might be something to do. All right, we're almost done. You turn it off before it's done, but... Oh, and then this is nice because it augments the shape. And of course, it's always good to augment the shape. Yeah, I'm really using these like paint because this is ridiculous. Markers tend to break down when you start covering large areas like this. The markers themselves are obviously not Sharpie, but I digress. But markers, it really has less to do with the material and has more to do with the applicator. The applicator is only that wide, and so everything I put on the page will have strokes that are that wide. So with a paintbrush, I could pull out a 4-inch paintbrush and cover this in 2 strokes. And if you're going to show the strokes, it's like, why? Why are you going to show the strokes? What are we showing? What are we seeing with the strokes? So now we're going to cover up some of this yellow that we made a mistake with earlier. It always kind of hurts a little because I don't like covering up my work, but at the same time, I don't like leaving it out there either. So we're going to fill this in a little bit because that's kind of cheesing me off. And then we're going to bring this right in here like this. And that's kind of fun and interesting. And a couple more swipes of the blue and the green. And I think we are all going to have a Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is the Reverend Ellsworth. You have to ask what that means. Have a great day.